Hey guys, so I did not do a reaction for Cats, which I kind of apologize for, but I decided to make up for it. I'm not sure how many of you guys are going to watch this. This is going to be my reaction to the official trailer for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which is being released by Sony Pictures Entertainment. Now, first off, before I get to anything else, I would like to thank Edric. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. He posted a comment on my Mulan saying it's a great reaction. It's cool like I said, they juxtaposed the qualities of being a good wife with the scenes of her displaying the same qualities of being a good warrior, which is something I really enjoyed. I think that was my most favorite part of the Mulan teaser trailer, was hearing the matchmaker talk to her about all these different qualities you need to be a wife. And then, like I said, those same qualities are also required to be a good soldier. And it really kind of brings, as lame as it sounds, seeing that kind of brought me back to Mulan 2, where that opening song, it's like she's talking about how to be a warrior. You have to be strong and soft, be able to like bend like bamboo, but be firm. So I really kind of liked that. So, and yeah, like another person said, there's not going to be any music. Mulan is not going to be a musical. There really hasn't seen any sign of Mushu, which I am okay with. I like the original animated version of Mulan. I love this music. I'm a huge Disney fan, so of course I love the music. I loved the character Mushu. I thought it was a great movie. However, like with Aladdin, I am excited to see this more historically accurate take on Mulan. Aladdin, they did that a little bit. They kept it a musical, but they went back and like redid the costumes and the sets and everything like that to make it a little bit more accurate to that time frame in that part of the world. So I'm really excited to see that with Mulan. And since Mulan is about a warrior, she is a fighter, I'm okay. I'm actually really glad that with the live action one, they're not turning it into a musical. They are just making it a movie, like a historical movie. So I'm really excited for that. I can't wait to see it. Just like with the live action version of Cinderella, the original animated version of Disney Cinderella is great. I love the music. I love everything about it. However, I also really love the live action Cinderella because it is not a musical. It is just a really great movie. I love the animated Disney stuff because they have the music and they're really amazing and awesome. But now that I'm older, I can watch those and look at it fondly and go, those are great pieces of my childhood. But as an adult, I want to see those fairy tales told a different way, which is probably one of the reasons why Maleficent is one of my favorite movies. I mean, I like it like Beauty and Beast, they kept the music, but that's just a part of Beauty and the Beast. I do like it. Like Cinderella is a great movie. I don't think they needed the music. I don't think it would have worked Beauty and the Beast without that music, because music has become such a big part of it. So, enough about Disney movies. Let's talk about A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Now, this is something I heard rumors about. It's a lot like The Dark Crystal. I had heard rumors about them doing this. I had seen nothing really concrete about it yet, so I was really, really excited when I saw that this trailer had dropped. For those of you who don't live in the United States, I'm going to give you, like I said, I do background, and I'm cheating. I have the Wikipedia page open, so just take it with a grain of salt. For those of you who didn't live in like the United States, who had never heard of it, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is a biographical film about Fred Rogers, and I'll get to the synopsis in a minute. Fred Rogers was this really amazing guy, and he created this show called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and it aired on public access television, or PBS. It debuted... it started on a local channel called Net, and it debuted on February 19th, 1968, and it ran on PBS until August 31st, 2001. So, think about that. Think about Sesame Street, which started about the same time, and Sesame Street is still running today. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood started in 1968 and still ran until 2001. That is an insanely long time. I mean, Sesame Street is still doing it, but that is insane. And this is a child's education show. The opening theme was actually called Won't You Be My Neighbor, and it was a really nice, simple song. And I remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. If you watch, I talked about it in my vlog this week. this was a show I would race home from school to watch. And I was a child during the 90s. This was a show I watched during the 90s that I loved. And he, like, had LeVar Burton on it. I remember that. And the show would start with him walking in the door and switching from street shoes into regular shoes and going over what we're going to learn today, and then hopping on the magic trolley and going to see King Friday and those creatures and seeing how what he's talking about relates to them. And it's a really, like, it was wonderful. It's 31 seasons, 912 episodes, including specials. And actually, if you guys have kids and you've heard of Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, this is what Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood is from. Daniel Tiger was a character on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and that is where Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood comes from. So it's kind of really cool to see that what Mr. Rogers started with his show in the 60s is still carrying over today. I follow a young girl on Instagram named Maya who has cerebral palsy, and her favorite show is Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. And, like, her mom will post videos of her, like, doing her exercise and stuff. And sometimes she'll actually sing songs from Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. And it's just so cool to me to see that Mr. Rogers' legacy is carrying over. Because Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was all about, like, acceptance and being friendly to everyone, being kind, generous. It was really about, like, these lessons. So it was awesome. So I love Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and it's just a wonderful thing, and I'm scanning through it. So it was awesome. I loved him, and I don't remember. He passed away. I don't remember how recently. 2003. So he was still doing this up at pretty close to his death. His full name was Fred McKinley Rogers. He was He was a musician, puppeteer, writer, producer, and a Presbyterian minister. And he is known as it was a show aimed for preschoolers, but I watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood until I was, like, in 5th grade. Like, that's how long I seriously love this. And one of the things, and I still remember this, at the end, they have it written here, at the end of every show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, he would tell his viewers, he would talk to the camera and say, "You've made this day a special day just by your being you. There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are." So that is wonderful. And like I said, this was a show that started during the 60s. So during, like, the social movements and stuff, this was, like, a constant for kids. And I loved it. It's, like, it's amazing. It's wonderful. So I'm so glad. So this movie, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the synopsis is, an award-winning cynical journalist, Lloyd Volgerl, played by Matthew Reyes, I don't know how to say the last name, begrudgingly accepts an assignment to write an Esquire profile piece on the beloved television icon Fred Rogers, played by Tom Hanks, who I think did a great job as Walt Disney in Saving Mr. Banks, with Vogel's perspective on life transformed after his encounter with Rogers. So that's me. So now, after all this very long time of talking, it's time for me to react to the official trailer for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I'm really sorry once again, I don't have the cool screen within a screen. So I'm really excited about this. I just have to find the right button. King Friday!
Hello, neighbor.
I just saw King Friday! I got so excited!
Hey, I'm looking for Fred Rogers. In here.
Oh my god.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine?
Oh my gosh, I want to cry.
Please won't you be my neighbor? Hello, neighbor.
Oh my gosh, I want to cry so much.
Mr. Rogers, I'm here to interview you.
It is so nice to meet you.
You okay? I'm profiling Mr. Rogers.
Lloyd, please don't ruin my childhood.
This piece will be for an issue about heroes. Do you consider yourself a hero?
We are trying to give the world a positive ways of dealing with their feelings.
Yeah? Like what?
There are many things you can do. You can play all the lowest keys on a piano. at the same time.
You love broken people. Like me.
Sometimes we have to ask for help, and that's okay. I think the best thing we can do is to let people know that each one of them is precious.
Hey, Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Please won't you be my neighbor?
That was wonderful.
Yay! November 2019. Oh my gosh, that looks so amazing. And it seems so weird, like I'm sitting here going, why am I tearing up, like just hearing, but that was my childhood right there. Like I said, racing home from school, turn on PBS, watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and it just made me feel so good. Granted, like I said, I grew up during the 90s. It's been called one of the last great decades. Not really any like war or anything like that going on. There were changes, but it was still a really positive thing growing up. And like I said, that message he would say at the end, thank you for you being you. That was just like something that resonated with me. That, hey, it's okay that I don't fit in at my elementary school. I just being myself, and that's okay. So that was something I needed to hear as a kid. And hearing that like every day was just wonderful. So, and you heard me get so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's King Friday. It's like, I remember the trolley and Daniel Tiger and King Friday, and I remember the mailman. And like I said, I remember LeVar Burton being on an episode. Oh my gosh, and I just wanted to cry just to hear that opening song. That was like, I remember just singing along, won't you be my neighbor? And it just made me so happy. So it just makes me feel so happy to see this movie. And I think Tom Hanks did a wonderful job. I think they've done a wonderful job with this movie because Mr. Rogers, like I said, he was all about accepting who you are and teaching us how to be kind and generous and accepting of other people. And one of the things and like the reporter did, you like broken people. And he did. There were a lot of episodes where he would have children. Like, he had one young man on, I think a few times. This young man was in a wheelchair. I think it was a paraplegic. And he had a special relationship with Mr. Rogers. And so he would bring on kids who had learning disabilities, who were handicapped in some way, who just had all these different issues. And he would bring them on and say, hey, they're the same as you. They're just a little bit different, but that doesn't mean you should treat them like they're less than. They're just the same as you, and they are just deserving of people being kind and helpful towards them. And so, and that I think is a great message that resonates. Like I said, I'm so happy that they have Daniel Tiger. It's not Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's not what I grew up with. But I'm so happy that his legacy is continuing in some way, shape, or form. So I'm really excited. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood comes out this year, November 2019. Oh my gosh, it seems like that time of the year is going to be busy. We have Maleficent, the second Maleficent movie coming out, Frozen 2, Cats, Scary Tales comes out in August, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood is November, and Star Wars is coming out in December, you guys. Holy cow, that is a lot. So you guys tell me down below in the comments what you think if you saw the Beautiful Day in Neighborhood trailer. Did you guys get like a little bit emotional like I did? Was Mr. Rogers a part of your childhood? Are you showing it to your kids? I mean, I found some episodes on YouTube I might go back and watch for nostalgic sake because I love it. So let me know what you guys think of A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Also, leave a little comment on any one of my videos if you want to hear me talk about what went down at for Marvel at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm a huge Marvel fan, and they dropped a ton of news for Marvel at San Diego Comic-Con this year. So leave a comment down below if you guys would like me to do something in this week's vlog about it or post a separate video talking about Marvel. So anyway, you guys, stay safe. I am signing off for the day, and I will get this posted later. So everybody stay safe, stay sane, and I'm glad you guys are my neighbor. And thank you for just being you. Bye, guys.